The Misfits podcast, fostering community through thoughtful and meaningful conversations. Think, inspire, entertain. Okay. Hello, sir.
It's called the what?
The Misfits podcast.
The Misfits Podcast.
Yeah.
And
How you doing?
That's why you invited me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah, we have today a special guest, our first guest. We have Chaim.
Very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. We have Chaim Silverberg, CW for those who know him from the interwebs, the creator and person behind Tripping Kosher on your video platforms.
Wherever the internet is sold.
Yes. And
Where can I see your content? Everywhere. Everywhere.
So we have some questions for you.
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just give an intro so people
Yeah.
can understand? I'm C-Dubs. I am one of a couple people who really have created this thing called Tripping Kosher. Imagine kosher counterculture. Something like that.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
So
Questions?
yeah, so we'll get into more on Tripping Kosher, but I guess I would just want to start with
Well, is this find out if I'm a misfit or have I already
no,
been
no. I
defined?
think
No, you're already part of the Misfit group now.
yeah.
I've already been defined.
You've already been initiated
No.
just by coming in here.
Oh, no.
So, where'd you grow up? What's your Jewish background? How'd you get to Baltimore? Who'd you lose the bet to?
Yeah, right. You know, people from Baltimore will not get that joke.
No.
No, they won't. So I'm C-Dubs. I'm Chaim. I grew up in one of the best places in the world, probably, to grow up in the 80s. St. Louis Park, Minnesota. St. Louis Park, Minnesota is a suburb of Minneapolis. And in the 80s, there was no such thing as racism or anything. Like where I lived, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, America in the 80s was perfect. And there was no stress. There was no internet. We knew what we knew. So we knew, like, our Daladamos, per se. You knew newspaper things, you knew television things, but you didn't know, like, all the information we get today. And I think it was a much more targeted existence. It was great. At least, I grew up super frum. My clan has been in that town for over 120 years.
Wow.
My family's still there.
What brought them to Minnesota?
My great-grandfather came in 1910. His sponsor brought him up through Duluth, and I think he ended in Duluth and then in St. Paul. And St. Paul in 1910 had, thousands of Jews. Got fired every Monday. Real existence. Like, these are hardcore, like, people who worked really hard to develop, culture and family, and growth in kind of like a religious way. So I grew up in this weird religious pocket in Minnesota that kind of gave me an idea and an identity that I was like 1.00001% of the universe, right? A kosher keeping Jew from Minnesota, I think, is it's a rare thing. In the grand scheme of Jews running the world, the one from Minnesota who keeps kosher is not. I'm like, so that always gave me like this kind of. I grew up in this egalitarian from engagement where, like, the Torah day school I went to, it was a Torah day school, very from school, but the student body was, I don't know, 40% religious, 35% religious, and 50% of those were like cousins.
This is all Midwest.
Like all Midwest Jewry. I can't explain it, but like,
other than Chicago, this is what the Midwest is.
Well, Chicago's big.
Right.
Chicago's real big.
But I'm from Indianapolis. Like, this is the same thing.
I think we're bigger than Indianapolis.
No, you are definitely big.
Yeah, that's like a dig. It's like, oh shit, those Indianapolis nerds. Yeah. You had like 50 people in your show. We had 150. Okay, like, let's go.
We have the same 50 people now.
Yeah, I know. Well, so Minneapolis has grown. It's one of those things that has to like really be shouted out. It's like the town I grew up in. It's grown tremendously over the many years, and it's authentic in a way that, like, I can't really describe unless you've experienced the ups and downs of Judaism in America. It's a really cool place. So I don't know. So I grew up with that identity that was like I was a guy in a weird little corner pocket universe, and none of my friends kept kosher because, like, they weren't kosher Jews. They were Reform conservatives. Reform makes the best bat mitzvahs, but they were that was the group, and so, like, we used to go out and I used to bring my own pizza, and like it was a heightened awareness. My friends always had kosher in their house for me, and not kosher I would keep at home. But kosher, like, barbecue Fritos are my favorite thing in the world, but I was never able to bring them home to my house because it wasn't Triangle K, But in my friends' houses, yeah. So that kind of gave me this complex, I guess, And then when my teenage years, I entered the yeshiva system. Do I need to explain that to the audience?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, yeshiva system. And there were none in Minneapolis. So like part of the rite of passage when you were like 14 is you got shipped out, and I
Right.
gotta tell you that was phenomenal. Not for my parents, but for me. Like imagine you went to college at 14, not at college at like 18 or 19. So you have all those like away from home dorm experience. Like it's just still strange because you're going to an all boys school, but like I went on a sort of Rumspringa for a couple of years, and I did.
Can you explain that?
Okay, so Rumspringa is when Amish kids turn a certain age. They're allowed to kind of take a year off. They're allowed to take a year off or two. I don't know the halachos, but they're allowed to do. They're allowed to do stuff, and then I think they're invited back in, and I think they have like a 99%. Like everybody mostly comes back, because like you get it out your system.
Yeah.
I think that's where sowing your oats, wild oats, probably. Go sow
I mean,
your
we don't
oats.
call it that, but that's basically what yeshiva year, the gap year is.
Yeah, it's not really Rumspringa. It's not like.
Not the same.
Not the same. It's a moment in space of time where you did your hishtadlus and you're ready to kind of flirt with the girl across the whatever. But it's not Rumspringa, right? Rumspringa is
That's for the divorced crowd.
well, again doing.
It's that gap year.
that gap. That's that gap half decade.
I think so. I'm not intimately familiar with that scene, but I would expect that kind of thing when you're an adult. You make your own decisions. I don't know. I just
Where was the yeshiva?
So one was in Detroit. That was a fantastic place, and then one was in Muncie, and then there was a thing in. Then I went to Rochester, which was really cool. Like Rochester, the yeshiva in Rochester, CUNY. Shout out to everybody at CUNY if they ever see this. Was like the end of the road kind of place in the 90s. Like if you were what we would call a teen at risk, because I was a
Like the Waterbury type of place?
yeah, Waterbury was a dream of theirs to have something like that exist. Waterbury came 15, 20 years later. No, 10 years later. And in the 90s, like if you went to like I think Rochester, you had like a certain kind of street cred. Like it was a wild joint. Great place, wonderful people, and their whole like goal was just to kind of make you happy. And I think now that I'm an adult and I can look back in my years, maybe I wasn't happy as a teenager because I thought I knew everything, and you don't, because teenagers are dumb. And I don't know. So that kind of like I've had this whole kind of tour of Judaism around America, and I was always fascinated. I went on Rumspringa, and then I ended up bouncing around. And then when I got to Israel in my later years, I don't know, about 20, 21, I was there for a couple of years. I think I kind of recognized that, like, I don't have to go to McDonald's. I can go next door to KFC and it's kosher. Like,
Right.
what am I doing? What am I running around? And that just kind of, from there, I kind of wormed my way back into what I call like Am Haaretz Judaism. Like I would consider myself like with the basic three.
Oh, push
Right.
it to Yid.
Well, yeah. I'm the guy in the forest that comes out and was like, "Oh, I missed Yom Kippur." That's I'm 100% that. I'm an Am Haaretz halachically, and I think it's like I'm comfortable with how I do what I do, and I'm from ish. I think so, and I think I use that as a platform to tell stories about things that are interesting to people who have also kind of kept kosher. Because you kept kosher, you've been involved in Shabbos and Yom Tov, and there's a whole culture there that nobody really not exposing, but like is as comfortable with, which is why we're here to talk about being misfits.
Right.
Because what kind of misfits are we talking about?
So I guess then the next question is, how'd you get into food?
Again, that's the
I
exact...
mean, other than being a
No.
Jewish person who eats at
No,
home.
it was different. I didn't grow up with restaurants. I didn't grow up with anything. We grew up cooking in the house.
Yeah.
We had one kosher restaurant. We had one or two. There was, always one or two,
The one that opens, then it closes, then it...
Well, whatever it is, it always changes in something else. But that's kind of core identity for small town Judaism. One of the things we really focus on in all of our videos on Tripping Kosher is that idea, is where you have that one small town and there's one place in the town and it has to be everything.
Right.
So it has to be the Shabbos takeout and the steakhouse for when you have business and the hamburger joint. And it's, there's always a...
And it's usually run by the Chabad.
No. Chabad is in the places where there are no Jews. When you're in like Midwest Indianapolis, it's not the Chabad. It's like some guy who's lived there for 100 years and was like, we need this, and they'll pull it together.
Or you've got the Cincinnati situation where it's the vegan vegetarian Indian restaurant.
So we have a documentary coming out the question is why do all the small Jewish towns have the best Indian food?
Because there's nothing else.
So we went to all of them, and we have them all filmed with like rabbis and stuff talking about like, yo, to walk into an Indian place and to make it kosher is certain steps, but it's way easier. Also, when you're talking to a frum community versus to a frum community, you know,
Right.
Like they have their own practices and whatnot, so they know the structure, right?
Especially like the Jain and things like that.
Well, yeah, because check them for bugs, baby.
Yeah.
The Mormons in Utah, and Nevada control all of the milk for the West Coast, basically.
Wow.
Okay, so there's like big Mormon, not all of it, but the big commercial farms, right, are the Mormons, and yeah, so on the West Coast to get like Harvey straw milk, you could never do it. It always came from Chicago or from here, and by the time it got there, you opened it up, it had 3 minutes.
Right.
I'm not a Harvey straw guy, but these are interesting stories. So like the Mormons in Utah, they're super firm, and so Chabad went to them and said, "Hey, you guys have the ability because they don't work on Shabbos. They don't work on Shabbos. There's a whole day where they're not touching the equipment, which allows a certain space and time to do some koshering protocol. Right? Let's explain it like that. Right? Just an easy way to kind of kosher Chal Yisrael, Ben Yom. I'm not going to explain it, but like because the Mormons are from, it's easier for us to do it. And so Chabad went in there, and every Saturday night to like Sunday morning, there's a Chabad guy in the middle of Utah, right? That's just watching the cows get milked, and they can now supply all the Chal Yisrael milk that they need for the entire West Coast, which they couldn't do in 100 years. It's just an example of a story. It's not about the scope of it all. It's more about like, you and I understand the parts, and it's interesting.
Right.
Like I know what Chal Yisrael milk is, and I know what it takes to like supply that community, and it's all over. I don't know what this has to do with Misfits, but I'm
No, it's great.
It's
No,
fascinating.
Well, you guys can watch them.
No, but we were-
click and watch those. I don't have to tell you what they
We were trying to find out what got you into the food.
Oh, so the food, because I grew up in Minnesota with like no kosher food. So either we had caterers come in into the house. I learned how to roll an egg roll from somebody called Leon Chin. She had something like 400 restaurants in the Midwest. Like she was like the Chinese like cook caterer. So it's like, yo, you want to do a kosher party? She was like, sure. Sure. Again, then I don't know.
That's
I
fine.
don't know why. And things like that. We had all the caterers come in, and my mom is an excellent cook. And then when I started going out as a teenager with my friends, and we'd go to like Denny's or something, and I was like, I can't really eat here. And then we couldn't go to a Denny's in the neighborhood because then I would get in trouble. Because somebody'd be like, "Hi, I'm not supposed to be here," because I didn't grow up in a frum community. Like I started off as just a Jewish guy keeping the kosher in a small neighborhood, being hyper aware of how I am, like of what that is and what that entails, being a kosher Jew in the Midwest. So hyper aware of all the practices and everything else, and then understanding how the community evolves, right? Because I'm a frum Jew from Minnesota, I am a unique item anywhere where there's Jewry. And like everybody knows like at least one frum Jew from Minnesota. It's like the 6 degrees of being from, but like it's a very specific corner pocket.
Right.
And it gave me this like even more heightened aware of like even like among the Jews, I am like such a minority existence. So it just means I'm fascinated with everything. And I took all those teenage years to challenge the authority and I guess the man and do all the things that would I guess would make me a misfit. But they were all learning experiences. And then from there, I think I just kind of grew as a misfit youth. I've never like really graduated out of it. I'm still, a misfit. Like to start off, I'm God's happy idiot. However religious I am or not, it's quite obvious that I am not in charge. And my fantastic life is obviously due to a higher power. Like that's a straight up shout out. Because if you knew my whole life, like I'm a happy mess. Like everything is positive and awesome, but like it is not in control because I'm not in control. I don't have those functions. God takes care of my life in a way that is fantastic.
Love
There
it.
you go. A little bit of that in there. I was a teacher. I had a really good career. I got into like special needs education. I had a kind of an expertise in nonverbal autism, which I'm just a very observant Jew. And
A different kind of observance over there.
well, I'm glad that somebody caught the joke.
No, I heard it.
Okay, good. Yeah, good. All right. I am funny. Like professionally, I think sometimes. Or not.
It's the dadness and
No, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of dad jokes. So I had this career, and I was a special needs educator for a very long time. And I didn't get burnt out. It's just the kind of changed, the parameters of what it was changed after, I had a real career. Like I had a whole line, insurance,
yeah. Yep.
I was a teacher. And within that, I had an opportunity to get involved in grocery store, it's packaged consumer goods. So PCG, CPG, consumer packaged goods.
Okay.
All right, consumer packaged goods. So I had this opportunity to kind of get to be in grocery stores in between the kosher and non-kosher products, and to kind of shift them around grocery stores. And I did that for a couple of years, and it gave me kind of a wider view of that curiosity of what is kosher and what isn't. And every grocery store in America is 60% kosher certified.
Yeah.
Between the goods. So it means that kosher, in effect, is part of an American culture. Right? It's not whether you keep kosher or not. You're utilizing the kosher product line, whether you're a Jew or not. Everybody in America buys kosher.
It is. It's a major difference. I mean, I grew up in France.
Yeah.
So wherever I go, I can't just figure out what's kosher or not. I got to go there with my
Yeah,
list.
with your list, and scan it, and then even that. You know why? Because they're afraid to put the symbol on the package because of the
Anti-Semitism.
Yeah, we got it kosher. Fuck the Jew.
Yeah.
Sacre bleu. Okay. But in America, it's absorbed and it's part of the encouraged culture, is to have a kosher symbol. Like if you are specifically in the way that marketing works, if you are not anymore because it's kind of falling apart, but if you were a millennial, let's say 5 years ago, you were a millennial, whatever, you saw the kosher symbol and you understood that was an extra check mark on hey, this is good stuff.
Right.
All right, this has gone through a process of evaluation.
Vegan, non-GMO, kosher.
Yeah.
Halal.
By the way, it's number two behind natural, which doesn't mean anything or something like that.
Organic.
It is a $20 billion business in America alone. So keeping that in mind, I thought to myself, nobody's ever made a commercial or went straight to the audience and said, oh, by the way, we're a kosher product. And this is 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And so I sat there, I said, why not? The hypothesis is why haven't we seen a commercial that says we are kosher? Right? It's because there wasn't an audience. Why wasn't there an audience? Because the audience was never identified, right? You have I don't know, 500,000 Jews just on the East Coast that don't have TVs. It's a whole different. So how do I garner their attention? They're not watching TV. What do we do? And so before even the Jews, the frum community fell onto the internet, we felt that we can start making television quality content about being a Jew in America and just going around the country and be like, oh my God, I keep kosher and look what I can eat. And that is really where Tripping Kosher came about. And I think a lot of people think Tripping Kosher are reviews. We don't say anything negative. We have a lot of rules that we set out when we first started. We said we don't generally use the word I in most of them, unless I'm telling a personal story, because it's not about me. This is the idea is we flew out here. We chose you we chose this topic. We think this is super interesting. We will fly out there, pay for the production, pay for the food, pay for the travel. It is not a cheap endeavor at all, and thank God, I have the opportunities to do it. I got a lot of things going on. But with the background of CPG and a background of a lot of the other things, it gave us the ability to tell the story correctly, at least informationally. And then I have this incredible, partner who is a full stack NYU Film School television producer for many years, and he puts together, and it's a very complex operation when you're dealing with multiple cameras, multiple mics, and about an hour of footage. Okay.
How many people watch your show?
Thank God, as many as need to be, I think. The idea is that we started so long ago with such a what we wanted to do was we're not influencers. We're not collaborators, right? What we do is we go in and we are television style. I'm like a Jewish Guy Fieri, This is super cool. I'm going to come and film it and make a piece about it, and we're going to celebrate your hard work.
I'm going to push back. I think you are.
But you're not. No, but no. We have this.
You're
problem.
not trying to be, but you are.
No, because that's how we're understood by the Oilem, because the Oilem only knows influencers. So our goal is to educate the masses. We're always entertainment education. But what sets us apart is the fact is immediately when you see the video, you're like, oh, this is a different way. It's a different way of storytelling. There's a front, there's a middle, there's an end. It's set up specifically in documentary style. We have so many different stories that we just, and we used food as like the key of the door, right? Because the Jews just want to watch the restaurant, right? Right? Every video, and I'm not bashing it because I love everything about this universe, right? We live in the greatest timeline ever. Every video is like, I went to have a sandwich, great, or it's I had a sandwich and it wasn't good, right? And that's not who we are. I'm not that guy. We set up immediately in the beginning the rules. We don't say I because it's not about us. None of these videos are about me. None of them. So why am I'm not the center of attention, right? The video is about a place that is doing something super interesting or awesome and kosher, and we happen to be here to eat it to tell you it's good. If it's not good, it doesn't go on camera. That's a huge rule. I'm not going to tell you it's not good. It's not going to be there. There is a certain caveat. If I am at a place and I'm maybe talking about more about keeping kosher in the middle of nowhere and less about the food, yeah, maybe the food isn't that great, but that's not the story. The story is keeping kosher in the middle of nowhere. That's the whole point of the whole thing, is entertain, educate. So we don't say I. We pay for everything. We cover, and we do have a lot of friends that own restaurants, and like there's a lot of pushback sometimes, but our rule is we always pay for everything because this is our production, right? You are the topic. You are not the partner, right? And even though we love so many of these people, that's how we have to build it, because we are not influencers. We are not, podcasters. We are a new form, old form for a new audience. And because we live on the world of the internet, all I have to do is keep making, all we want to do is just keep the production tight and keep it consistent. So for the past 10 years, we have 1,000 episodes about. And 90% of them are about like food or restaurants or travel. But mostly about like food and restaurants. And then the other 10% are about things that are super interesting, that maybe are food adjacent or are interesting to people who keep kosher, which is a huge audience. So we've been filming for 10 years. The goal is to build this massive library, and not to throw it in your face. Okay, we don't hashtag, we don't play any games, because like it's a call to action. We won't do that because it's not what we are, and we just want it. By the way, it's been to the negative for us for years. The fact that we don't utilize social media properly. We don't do that because there was never an angle for us to do it appropriately until now. Right? Because until then, everybody be like, these food influencer reviewers, right? Because the language was not understood. We are now in a place now that is definitively understood, and I think it's really understood that what we are. Like we're not sponsored, we're not anything. We are making great stories, great television, enjoying the shit out of life. Put that together in a sentence.
I love how they were like 8 words apart.
Yeah, I know. But
One we can, one you
bleep
can't
it.
listen to in the bathroom. One you're gonna have to bleep out.
Yeah, that's what I said before. Like bleep, I needed a bleep button.
So
I think
the question is like, do you specifically focus on the food only, or do you focus on the establishment as a business as a whole? Like I guess my question is like, of all the places you've been, can you tell which restaurants are going to be more successful than others in terms of business?
Well, so I think there's a lot of people have asked me to kind of cover this corner. I also have a huge background in owner operations, mobile restauranting, catering. I had that for a bunch of years. Doing some really cool things, going to farmers markets, 10, 12, 15 years ago.
That's how I met you.
Yeah, I know, a long time ago. But like I have the experience. I don't go on camera and I don't say, oh, hey, I'm Chaim. I spent 10 years in grocery store, shoving food down your face, and then I spent another 10 years throwing it down at farmers markets, and I know everything. It's not the theme. We're in there just to be like, wow, and just everything is here. So for the 10 years, we made this massive content library, just to be able to go to every platform and say, here's the pizza episodes, or here's 30 different burger places in America. All those things, we have all of that in 4K. And our goal was just to establish, I think, that format of storytelling for the entire audience. So every video is our favorite video. Every place we go to is our favorite place. And every video includes more than just me shoving food down my face. I'm in a place where somebody is doing hard work to provide me sustenance in this weird, strange kind of lifestyle way. So every video reflects that. So there are videos that are more intimate about the place. And it also depends, like, not everybody can be on camera. And so, like, we have to find a format that works. So I have a partner that's on camera for, like, the first, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years he's with us, and now he's kind of back and forth because we got other things going on. But it's more of just we established a stylized format for kosher storytelling in this kind of kosher counterculture misfit kind of way. I do have favorites though, but we don't call them favorites. We call them there's no lists, things like that. Like these are with the best one, right? If you're asking me that question, you don't understand what we're doing. No, what's I have favorites. There are places I love going back to. There are places we do walk into and have closed before before the footage came out. And honestly, 30% of our videos, 40% of our videos are probably closed places. But we now have the historical record of Frum Jewry in America. We know everything about all the Frum Jews. We know where they live, what neighborhoods, what they buy, how they go to. All that is something that we've captured for 10 years. We know the demographics that nobody else does.
I think it's cool that there's another part of the story besides the food and the kosher. It kind of gets into where the Jewish communities are and the ones specifically that keep kosher.
That was the thesis in the beginning, was like, how do we define the audience? We'll start with the food because we have kosher purchasers. If you have a kosher restaurant, you have a mikveh, you have a shul, you have a school. Yeah. And they all in 3 miles of a radius of each other. So that's real math.
Yeah. Like that one pizza shop in Cincinnati or whatever.
Well, that was what we were talking about.
Did you talk about that?
I went to a pizza shop in Columbus, Ohio, just driving back from Indiana this week on Thursday, and I turned the kosher GPS on, found this pizza place, went there. My kids and I got hot pizza in the middle of Columbus, Ohio, instead of eating snacks in the car.
Is there a collab with kosher GPS?
I'm not kosher GPS, so
I'm saying they're gonna be collab over there.
There's a couple really good apps, but the fact is he went on the internet and posted it, and that kind of thing comes across our radar. We now know because that's only been there for a couple weeks. We were in Columbus area a couple months ago, and there was nada.
Because then on that post that I made, they were saying, "Did you go to Saba's Grill?"
Yeah, see, Saba's Grill is this little corner stall in a food hall.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be super cool,
but it was closed because it was January 1st.
Yeah,
it was New Year's Day.
It's only open for a couple hours. This is an older guy. It's one of the stories we want to cover next time you're out there.
So, what is one of? I can tell you there were a couple of things that got me hooked on what you were doing, and I think the first one that really got me hooked was this place in Chicago called Tacos Gingy.
Oh, the only kosher gas station.
I like
taco.
the name.
Yeah, well, because he's a gingy, gingy to gingy, his name is Ricky Bialik. He has the only kosher gas station tacos in the country.
It's a gas station.
You walk in, it's a gas station. If you guys are looking at me like I'm crazy because kosher Jews are looking at me like I'm crazy, taco gas station is a thing. It's a real thing.
I mean, I've heard of Cholent gas station.
No. See, that's exactly the cultural divide we're trying to show off here. There are neighborhoods here that have Cholent gas stations. Well, not here, but Cholent gas stations in New York. But that's a unique kind of corner pocket.
7-Eleven had Cholent for a little while.
You know what I mean? The whole, it's a Jewish super hyper from Shabbos keeping Lel Shishi community that's going to have Cholent. Teaneck is not going to have Cholent on a Thursday night.
No.
Okay, all right, but gas station tacos are all over the West.
Curiosity. What percentage or how many times are these restaurant owners Ashkenazim versus
you can
Israeli
tell it in the food.
or
you can tell it in the food. Depends where you're traveling. If you go out west, right, and it's a Chabad affiliate place, it's a Chabad with an Israeli guy.
Ashkenazim didn't really have the food thing.
No, you know what? It's a
I'm trying to push that.
it's a misnomer because there is really good all of appetizing is Ashkenazi food. All right, pastrami is Ashkenazi food. So the white guys, No, man, you just got to go to somebody who knows how to cook well. Salt is the magic ingredient in everything, right? And because you've been exposed to one side of the palate, when you go to the other side, it's either very scary or very exciting. My goal is to kind of introduce you to the entire palate. The entire, fun things. We went to New Mexico. New Mexico has a Chabad deli.
Is this in Santa Fe?
Santa Fe, New Mexico has a Chabad deli. So is the video going to be about the bread and the meats and the mustard? No, you can't mess that up. Thank God they do a great job with that. What would the video be about? There's 5,000 Jews in all of New Mexico. Right? Maybe. And there's less than a million from kosher keeping Jews in New Mexico. New Mexico is the middle of nowhere, and possibly the most beautiful part of the United States. It also has history before the United States, and it's weird to think about. Like, we went to the Pueblo Caves; those are 1,600 years old, and you're like, oh, okay, that's, it's weird. Like, we think we're, Americans, we're new here. But what's the video really about? The video is not about the sandwich. The video is about going to the desert, maybe tripping balls for 3 days, and then like kind of recommuning with my soul with like a bowl of matzo ball soups. Like, that's kind of like the story that we get to tell. It's not for everybody. Not all of them are for everybody, but they are interesting, I think, enough, and they're built. First of all, I cannot give enough credit to, they are high quality television cuts and edits. These are not like, we're not messing around. We do have television. We do have a streaming show on something called HiFlix, and it's been there for a couple years called Schmoozing and Cruising. That never really panned out into anything, but we do own the rights, so it will be on like Netflix and Amazon and whatnot fairly soon. And then we have basically another kind of example of it, Tripping Kosher, but a 30-minute
long
series. Well, we're already long form. We're just going more long form.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's people don't understand is we're not Instagram 2-minute, 30-second.
No.
We're not TikTok. Like, we're not going to tell you in the beginning who I am, what we're doing. It's just going to open up into a beautiful scene, and you're just going to have patience. And it's going to develop into a story, and it's fairly natural, right? We're not feeding it to you. We're not spoon feeding it to you because we don't want to tell you what it is. We want you to kind of understand.
Go on a journey.
Yeah, but honestly, go on a journey, but just like enjoy it for what it is. You guys can enjoy something new and maybe like something. Like, it's okay.
Are you gonna put it on like the very yeshivish platforms like 24/6 and?
So we haven't.
Netflix?
So you make fun of all that. We do have something on HiFlix already.
HiFlix is
Yeah, HiFlix is more Israeli.
it's real. Yeah, that's like a real streaming.
But the other ones, we are friendly with a lot of them, and like, there's been this kind of idea of, we have the ability to create full-on series for them with what we have already.
Like, do they have good royalty like plans? Like,
They all do. They all are very lucrative. The idea for us is we didn't want to have to build off on being something viral and trying to play catch. We're a real production company. So what we did is we built that massive library, and now we have 1,000 revenue streams on 1,000 channels, all making a half a penny, right? So thank God, whatever. In the meantime, over the next 10, 20, 30 years, you're just going to have, thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Like, if we reach 100,000 people a month, probably on average, right? Every day, because we have so many wonderful, high-quality pieces of content, when you fall into it, you fall into it. Tripping Kosher. Yeah,
do you have to be tripping to trip on kosher?
It's a travel show about keeping kosher and a sense of humor. Right, I think that's also been to our demise. Is people think that it's just it's drugs. Most people think I have a weed company, right? That's what it is, and I don't. I know everybody that does. I'm a big fan of these guys, the Hamsas, kosher gummies, because we have a documentary about them. Because I thought it was fascinating.
I think it's cool that you're bringing good content, professional content that's specific to the kosher demographic, especially the yeshivish community.
Well, I grew up yeshivish, bro.
So they're right in the stage where they're like priming up for professional content.
But also, like, the most yeshivish community in this country is probably the best food city in this country.
No, Lakewood, New Jersey is the capital of the frum world. I think right now. I think, like, again, this is not derogatory at all. This is against like Hodu Hashem Kitov. Like, this is. Like, Lakewood has become something more than what Lakewood ever has been. And if you've never been there, or if you haven't been there in years, you have to go, because it is hundreds of thousands of Jews who have developed into this massive stronghold of identity, something that we can all kind of mish with. And there are also 100 restaurants, and they are killer spots.
They have to be, because they're competing.
And there is, again, the content producers are getting very good out there. They're getting good, and I think we just want to be the background. Like, I'm really a background guy, right? I love, professionally to kind of be on camera and be the guy, but in real life, I'm low key. I got my own things. Like, if you're with me, I'm having fun. You're in my space. That's okay. But like, I'm not a big be in the center of attention party guy. I like to walk in and out, and I think that's kind of where we wanted our content to kind of be understood is like, we're that example, we're there, we're the background guys. Everything you're trying to do is gonna be like this, and we just want to kind of lead the way. We're not here to like crap on anybody. No. Anybody who can do this, go ahead and do this. But just know it is prohibitively expensive and incredibly complicated to do this for 10 years already. Like we've purposely built this massive library. I mean, think about how many hours of just good pizza edit I have. Right? Just the pizza edits, right? I have hundreds of hours of just killer looking pizza and talking about it. Right? All I have to do is say, okay, let's make a pizza channel, right? We can do that. We just want the audience to be ready to like absorb it. And that is, I think we're right. Like whenever I get like disappointed, like it took Mr. Beast like 8 years to be relevant, you know, like nothing. So like, thank God.
Also, right now is a perfect time. Like the film world, there's platforms coming up. Like 24/6 is an example of a platform that kind of exploded in the last few years. But also, I don't know if you know, but today later I'm going to shoot for a film for Yidflix, which is like a...
Yeah, I know.
Jewish-
What are you filming?
They're making a video about the Chavetz Chaim.
Oh, yeah. Where are you doing it?
When?
No, that's cool. So you're doing a Chavetz Chaim,
It's
like a
today.
documentary?
There's like a shoot today with... Yeah.
What, with like rabbit
It's-
cats or something? Just talking about Chavetz Chaim?
No, but it's Berman.
Yeah, whatever.
He wrote it. One of
Whatever.
these
Okay.
guys who's pushing like tons of content onto 24/6, like stories.
Great idea, just not supportive of it.
Which one? The movie? Oh yeah. Oh, we could talk about this, but it's a little sidetrack from what
That's
you're.
fine.
Okay, the platform originally was gonna have women in the film because there's the Chavetz
Okay.
Chaim had a mother and a sister.
I was going to
and
be the Chavetz Chaim's wife.
Oh.
And,
So is this like a full-on production, or is this a lot of AI added in, or is this like
they're trying to make it like a
Real,
production, yeah. But pandering, or if that's the word.
No, because
Editorial
so this
requirements.
Is, so we,
is the nicer way to say it.
You know what? Again, it's not an offense to anybody who is going to be on camera. You have to like look at the big picture here, right? What are they targeting? Who are they targeting? And whether we appreciate that or not, that is a function or at least a result of how our community works, right? So while we don't understand it and it does not make us feel comfortable, right? On the other side of the fence, they're just as uncomfortable with you being in there. So like, come on. You got to, like, that's where I sit. I sit where God put me in a place where I have my opportunities. Everything's a God-given opportunity. And we take them or we don't take them. But, like, if they don't work and it's because of somebody else or it's because, like, oh, no women on camera, I kind of get that.
The platform's going to have women in films, but not this particular film.
Oh,
So whatever
will
you
have
did,
women?
you should definitely get it on their platform. You know Chaim Chernoff, right?
Chaim and I'm a good friends.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, you gotta
I
get
know.
your stuff on the
We've
platform.
discussed. We have to just start building for him. That, like, just specifically. Hey, I'm kosher pizza guy. I am like a kosher Mr. Rogers. That's kind of where we want it to go.
That's a nice way to put it.
No, with
What's your jingle?
it's good to be your neighbor.
It's the goat at the end.
It's the goat. People don't understand that. It's we have like a sit ubu sit at the end of all of our videos. We have a signature like, and it's a goat going. And it's an inside joke between three people, and that's all it is. It's like nothing important, nothing good. It's just a dumb joke. Kosher style media.
What's something in kosher that you would like to see coming up in the next 10 years?
It's all here already. It really is. It's all here. We live. We're at this. I'm going to call it Mashiach because we're in Mashiach, because you can get on a metal magic tube and be in Eretz Yisrael tomorrow, which is not something that's ever existed. Somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, I bought a roast the other day. It wasn't so great." You know what I tell them? Did you shuck the cow yesterday? And they said no. And I said, "Shut the fuck!" I'm like, Amen. How do I, like, this is like amazing that you could get I can walk to the store tomorrow and get like, an affordable chicken, almost affordable chicken. Like this is where we're at. Like the convenience that we don't even understand. All the information of the world is in my pocket. We live in this incredible timeline. Everything is good. Everything is good even though we don't feel it sometimes.
I'm liking this take on Mashiach. We had this conversation last night.
No, straight up.
It's
It's
like-
here.
This is far
God
beyond
is telling us.
any of Chazal's expectations. We far exceeded it.
Just again, as somebody who's tried to show off a certain point counter of like Judaism in my corner pocket, more Jews are feeling Jewish nowadays. Like, everybody's pointing at you and saying Jew, you have to do it too, right, Jew? So in that aspect, everybody who has really, you're either affiliated or not at this point. We know the Erev Rav, and we know those who identify and those who don't. Like that's That's where we're at. And it's more Jews are aware of Jew anywhere and any other time. So you want to get to like metaphysical energies and how they work and whatever and whatnot. If you're into that thing, it just means that there's a lot of power behind the community of it all. And I think we're experiencing that kind of space right now where like all the Jews are for the Jews. And I think like I set a goal for 2020.
Mashiach energy.
Mashiach, whatever you got, I like Modi, but but like it's not, it's okay. Mashiach energy. Okay. You're correct. But it's more than that. It's I set a goal for 2027 5 years ago. I said, we're moving 2027, making Aliyah. I talked to God. God and I have a obscene number. And while I'm not there yet, God will take care. And when I hit that obscene number 2027, going to Israel, building a ranch, raising Wagyu for like Korbanos or something. All right. Just having a great time. And
He's pro the animal, sacrifices.
no, I'm not going near the animals because I need holy people to touch them, but I will have them. No, it's when the millionaire has to make a korban to thank God. I want part of that Mashiach energy. I want, that's
Part of the supply chain over there.
100%, right? I go to shul on Friday night, specifically so that my like hums can join everybody else's singing and know that I'm part of like this klal power, whatever it is. And I'm not super religious at all, spiritualist, but like, Friday night. So that's kind of the same idea. Everything is kind of connecting it that way. And I think we live in this universe where like, I set this Golden Week Aliyah. I'm going to go. God's going to be like, all right, here you go. Check. And we're going to go. I haven't been in 20 years.
And then you'll do a show in Israel.
It's not that I'll do a show in Israel. Everything that I do in this universe, I can do infinitely better there. And so I have to convince my wife and kids. Hopefully.
That would be awesome. I wonder the differences that would come up.
We're going this summer. I'm taking them this summer. I haven't been in almost 20 years.
Wow.
And it pains me every day because why am I here? And
You're here because Hashem needs you here right now.
Okay, fine. We have that discussion. I talk to God all day. And God, that's why God and I have developed the trigger in 2027. You just got to be very clear with your goals. Be like, God, in 2027, 100 million. Okay, we're out. That kind of thing. Like, because you're talking to God. It doesn't have to be small. So that's my idea. That's my goal. And so we're going this summer, making bar mitzvah, and hopefully we're just going to convince everybody to stay. Because I think that's where we're all heading. Either that or like United States of Florida. But I'm going to Israel.
That could also be Aliyah. People do Shalosh Regalim down every year.
So
Momos.
you laugh, but that will be a certain existence, is where you have half a year in Florida and half a year in Israel. That is a real existence that's happening. It's fake Tel Aviv. Little Tel Aviv, big Tel Aviv. I don't know. It's bigger than Tel Aviv now.
I mean, that was California until the taxes got too high.
Yeah, no, not even. No, Florida, yeah. But Florida has really become, like, you get off the plane and it's all Hebrew. I love the Hard Rock, but it is all in Hebrew. All right.
What do you like to cook for people?
Oh, I like to cook everything. It's not about what I like to cook for people. It's I like to cook for people. I don't know. I like to cook for people. I have like
I think I can understand that.
I have a certain avoda in life. My certain avoda in life generally is to, I guess, kind of educate, entertain, but to also that's how I emote. I emote through food. I think that's what allows me to talk about it. Before the psychedelics, I didn't really cry much. So, what do? You eat and you cook for people. Like that's like hardcore Judaism, like emotional response, right? If you're Jewish and shit's bad, there's food. If you're Jewish and shit's good, there's food. And it's like, and like we do Thanksgiving and Christmas every weekend, and I can do it with 5 minutes maskos. So I do have a real cooking background. I cooked with a lot when I was a kid, and a lot like learning with the caterers and whatnot. And then I had a real career, and then I put the real career aside, and I started hanging out at the knish shop because Mosey and I went to yeshiva together. We've been friends for 100 years. Mosey is a tzaddik, runs a place called the knish shop, one of the largest caterers on the Eastern Seaboard. And he let me just kind of develop a sandwich operation back there. And then I spun it off into my own catering company where we were making kosher bacon out of lamb. It was called Bacon. And we used to sell it in farmers markets and high-end markets in D.C., Bethesda. And we were really selling sandwiches. And we were just having a great time. And it was leading to catering to do what is now like live fire. So now people know what it is, where you show up with a big fire and hooks and tables and and all the things you're cooking, all things. A lot of people are doing that gaucho style stuff like that. So like 15 years ago, this is what we were doing in like DC backyards, and then the way the universe turns, I started making the videos, and the management that I had set up for the catering company didn't really work out, so I had to shut that down. But then we led into Corona, so I had something called Secret Kitchen always at the catering company, whereas you wanted to thank somebody, but you really, you didn't want to take them back to the same one or two restaurants we have in town. You wanted a private experience where they're just going to enjoy themselves. And because that is my nature to, just shove some food in your face and watch you smile, it became a thing known as Secret Kitchen, where, you needed to really thank somebody. You would show up just in this beautiful little catering kitchen, maybe the size of, a little bigger than this room. And you would just house food, things that I was making, things that I was curing, all sorts of crazy experimentals. And it was a really fun thing. And then Corona happened, and we moved it into my backyard, just as a private space where, I will host you when I want. It's only people I want to hang out with. It's by referral only. There's a lot of kind of rules because it's not a restaurant. It's, the only expectation is to show up and have a good time. Throughout Corona, God kept taking care of me, and God gave us this wonderful house in a new neighborhood that just really, really wonderful living. And I have a space built there. I have my commercial kitchen was close. I moved everything into that house. Basically have a huge commercial kitchen. And then I have a little 4-top restaurant, and then I have spaces for a bunch of other things. And I basically run a speakeasy called Secret Kitchen. And it's by referral only, and only because it's I'm just going to feed you food. You're going to show up. I can't even explain it. There are videos you can watch on the Trippin' Kosher. Go Trippin' Kosher Secret Kitchen, and you will see one from, what did we call it? Japanese food from 2017 maybe, where you see the catering kitchen is 30 degrees in there, and we're making noodles and broths and dumplings and sticky ribs, all because that's just a enjoying the culture. It's like my vote is we this can be kosher. It is all kosher. It happens not to come from a Jewish corner pocket, but that's the whole story of the Jews that we come from everywhere. And so I have this space by private invite. I have a dinner there tonight. I'm going to cook, after this, where you just sit down and I just throw you 6 courses and you have a great time, and then you just get the hell out. And then you can't really process it until later. I can't explain what it is. You show up and you're like, wow, that's something I've never had before. That is bananas. And you're thinking about it. And then by the 6th course, you don't even remember the first course, and then you're like, what did I have? And you're just totally getting the vibe. And you're having a great time. Everything is served on bamboo plates, and I use wooden forks and stuff like that because I don't want to do dishes. So it's all surrounded by big fires, so you throw it into the fire. It's cool. It's a cool gig. That's what I do.
When are we doing this?
Yeah.
Listen, it's by referral only, so there are rules. So I tell everybody you got to find the referral, and if somebody gives you my number and they don't talk to me about it, immediately blacklisted. Immediately blacklisted. It's not hard to find, but just not in a bad way, but just because it's a gedarim, Because if you're not going to get it, it's not worth coming. If you call me, I'll be like, oh, what's on the menu? What do you do? Right? That's fine, but that's not that's not what I do. I'm just a low-key guy throwing
It's
down.
the experience. You come in and
It's a vibe.
I just go with the flow. And
I
it's
just
an
want to have a
experience.
great time, and I always do. And I hope most people have a great time with me. Right? That's what I said. My avoda is to be hey, here's some nourishing kosher food that you could never have imagined would ever exist, and you're just having a great time. I'm also probably smoking a joint and just chilling out back there, but it's cool. It's a little restaurant with heaters in the winter. 4-top Secret
Love it.
Kitchen.
Yeah.
It's cool.
You guys
I
got-
live,
I might do the same thing downstairs.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I live a really, everything is, Amen Sela. Sela is my favorite word in Hebrew, but Amen Sela, because it doesn't really mean anything. It just means emotion, I think. But Amen Sela, it's all God-given opportunities, and I live a magnificent life doing some really cool things. Right? I cook, I eat, I travel. Woo. I'm going to a food show next week.
Amen. So
Amen
Sela.
Sela. see?
All right, cool. I think that's
We are reaching our
we're
time
reaching the
limit.
end. All right.
How many questions are left?
The only question I had left was something that you told me not to ask, so I'm not going to ask it. It was about recommendations.
Oh no, you can ask.
Okay, so I'll ask the question. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't, because you've been to a lot of places. I was going to say,
Been to
can
all the
you
places.
Give 3 recommendations for people to seek out. But the caveat is one is like one needs to be like a cheap hole in the wall type place.
my
One's
favorite.
a mid, and one's like a destination type
Okay,
place.
I can do this. We love them all. We love them all. The JCC in Valley of the Sun, Arizona, has a place called Milk and Honey. It's called Milk and Honey, and it is the best, one of the best dairy cafes like in the country. It's inside the JCC. It's a whole experience unto itself. But it's this European guy who just loves what he does, and I get enchiladas for breakfast. But like he's got like look at the menu. The menu is incredible. So you're like, this isn't a JCC. Like what is going on? And that would be like the base. Middle. There's so many great places right now that are just crushing that middle spot. Fast casual, as you would call it.
Yeah. Somewhere you could take the family or yourself and not put yourself out for.
Well, there's like 20 of those places in like Lenny's Casita would be like one of those. There's a place called Lasso in Hollywood, Florida, which is a backyard like food truck on a farm. And it's the super cool vibes. Also like 30, 40, 50 bucks a head. There's Bukharian joint. And, like there's so many all over the country. But then for right now, if like for the higher end,
destination
right now, like you go to New York or Lakewood, there's a lot of places you can have a lot of fun. Lakewood really is the best eating city kosher in the country right now. There's a fish grill in Lakewood that is absolute fire. It's it's like $40. You get a piece of fish and some fries. And
Is
some
it the same
pilaf
one
and
that
some
was
rice.
in Los Angeles?
Yeah, it's the same, and it works. It totally works. American Dream Mall has one now too. Lakewood's got the best French fries at this taquito place. Like really, some of the best French fries in the country. There's a Mexican place called Taquito. There's a Mexican place in Lakewood, so that's what I'm trying to say. Like real Mexican, and they have like the best papas. Papas is what they call them, the fries. High end, not high end, but like more experiential. LA, there's a place called Next Door, and it is next door to their shawarma spot called Dr. Sandwich, so it's called Next Door, and it is just Mediterranean. You sit at the bar, have a great time, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience, and the food is California fresh. And then in Florida, there's now a place called Mutra. It's also a place called Naya and Mutra. Naya if you want dairy, but Mutra also, where it's like, I would call it secret kitchen, like fancy restaurant. So again, you sit at the bar and it's all kind of like similar. To me, it's very similar to my style, so I love it. But it's just really composed, beautiful. I don't do the foo-foo plating, but this is beautiful. Beautiful plating, beautiful service. It's like the James Beardy kind of spot, I think I would say. The Mutra.
Okay.
All right, good job, guys. Good job. I now identify as a misfit.
Yay. All
Welcome
right.
to the club.
Yeah, welcome.
There you go.
Please like and follow us on Instagram at the Misfits
Jewish
Podcast.
Misfits.
The Jewish Misfits Podcast. We changed it, yeah. And like and subscribe to our feed on our YouTube channel. Please give us a 5-star rating. If you'd like to leave a comment, send us an email to the Misfits Podcast 2024 at gmail.com. And once again, our episode today is sponsored by
Crystal clear occasions.
and event planning done right. Okay, everyone, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.